G'day guys, welcome back to The Why, the best SuperCoach Draft show in the land. I am joined by my two co-hosts, two of my favourites from the weekly rubdown, Natty and Wuka. Natty, I'll bring you in first, mate.
Hey-o.
What's going on?
Just killing it, brother. Life, SuperCoach Draft, classic, you name it.
Didn't bring the vest back this week, or?
No, well, when I took the vest off last time, there was another vest underneath that vest made of sweat. So I decided to just cull the vest and just go the shirt this time.
It's the problem with being a hairy man.
I know. And then underneath that vest is the hair vest. Fuck.
What doing?
Mate, I've been to rattle stations the last few weeks with a few injuries popping up. Work's been a bit tough as well. So, yeah, it's all turning around though. It's all turning around. Doing some hard fucking work on the waivers and betting my little ass off. So yeah, everything's looking on the up.
Well, boys, since I saw you last, I've had some very big life events. I picked up.
You want to mute his mic for me?
Oh, here I am about to tell you about my wedding and all the special things.
Just mute it.
That doesn't even register.
I get cut off.
That doesn't even register on yours.
Unbelievable. No, but in all seriousness, big events. Picked up Connolly Lemuelu off the waiver. Got married.
That's
broke the SuperCoach Draft record in my competition. I've lost one game in 2 months. It's all come together quite nicely. Actually,
Yeah.
which I think if you roll the tape back in round 2, I think I said it would. But anyway, that's fine. No, I copped it left, right, and centre last episode. I've spent pretty much the last 8 weeks on a lounge, staring at a ceiling, talking to a stranger. So now that it has all started to come good, I'm really looking forward to this week. And as we predicted, one of us would have one of the great bed shits of all time. And he certainly has.
He has indeed.
How bad's it been, Natty? You've been able to watch it all firsthand.
So, look, everyone that's watched The Wire so far, last episode, he was probably sitting a little bit taller as well last time. He's a little bit slouchy this episode. He was up on his toes, very chirpy, very fucking chirpy. And then it just went... And then up until this week, where I'll let Wuka talk about that later... He wasn't on the chat, just disappeared, probably in his basement, rocking back and forth.
Well,
grim shit. Grim shit.
Well, I haven't told you this yet, and I'm sorry to do this to you, but he actually rang me last week. He said, I think I've got jury duty next Sunday. And I went, mate, it's a safe place. You can come. Yeah. Don't talk shit. Okay. Yeah. Just come along. Safe. It'll be okay.
You'll be okay. Trust me, it's never safe.
We'll put our arm around you. It'll be okay.
I know you too.
So, like, out of 10, how rattled are we?
Now, I'm probably like a 1. Last week,
who'd you win this week? Jesus, what happened?
Munster.
Close.
Yeah, so I lose Dewey and I gain Munster.
I don't think I could fit Munster in my team, but that's okay. Saving grace for you, eh? Now, boys, in all seriousness, though, today's app, so much draft information coming your way.
Yeah.
And personally, I think if you are a serious draft player out there and you want to win your comp, you've got to be stuck into your Patreon. Run me through it.
It is kicking goals at the moment, mate, at the moment, the Patreon. So, first up, it's $5 a month. It's no lock-in, so you can dip in, dip out. It's cost you $5 to have a look at it. I'm telling you, if you go on there and you don't like what you see, you don't like draft. Simple as that. We've got everything in there, so... Everything to do with strength of schedule, everything to do with points scored and conceded, not just teams, but also positions, SuperCoach positions, but not just SuperCoach positions, but Wook the Wizard has also broken it down into left-right. So we're talking left wing, left centre, right centre, how teams are conceding points to specific positions, which I think we can't get it anywhere else for starters, but I think it's really beneficial for predicting scores because it's all about the edges. It's all about how teams are attacking, what edges they're attacking down, and how teams are conceding points, where they're conceding the points. So it's all on there. He's just updated it to 6-round average. So now you can look at the season-long averages, and now you can look at the 6-round averages, which gives you a little bit better look at the form teams are going with injuries and blokes in and out of sides. So it gives you a more accurate reading of, predicting scores and stuff like that. And I'm going to talk a little bit about how to use those stats in a real-world situation when we go through my team, because I've had to go diving for a CTW to try and steal a win, and I've done that. I've worked it through our own stat sheets to do it, and fingers crossed, comes good.
And I think I would just add on to it as well that if you are a classic player coming over for your first draft encounter or episode, whatever it might be, invaluable.
100%, especially the strength and schedule stuff.
It's still useful for planning trades and picking your plug and plays for that week for your CTWs and 2RFs especially.
Yep.
So it's
captaincy options,
captaincies as well. We've got a captaincy selector tool and everything. So
work with the strength of schedule stuff in conjunction with your break-even stats to go, okay, break-evens are going to be here, strength of schedule's changing up here, he's going on a really good run, I can pick him up, or shit, his break-even's high and he's got an 8-game strength of schedule that's fucked, time to sell.
Yeah.
And how much is it?
$5.
$5.
What can you
$5 a month?
Yeah.
Less than a skewy.
I think he fucked up. I told him 20.
Yeah.
And he put 5 in there, which I was filthy about. I'm still not over it, but that's what it is. It's $5.
Stewie Diver. Price of what? Quarter of a cup of coffee in Sydney or what?
Exactly.
Easily. Yeah.
Cruising. Love it, boys.
Couldn't even get a minute.
You've got huge unders once again.
If you like what we do, if you like the weekly rub down, you're digging what we do, and you think it's worth shouting me and Wook a beer to share with a straw in our mouths, then that's what it is.
Yeah.
Love that. How good. Speaking of beers, today's episode brought to you by Bloke in a Bar, the best beer in the land. Myself, Kempy, Timmy Williams, a.k.a. Phoenix Crossland, will be up, and Matty the Waterboy, of course, will be up at Magic Round this weekend. So we'll have a meet and greet for Bloke. Tom and Eddie will be with us as well from Hello Sport. So we'll be up at the Caxton Hotel Saturday, 1 p.m, I believe it is. So come and say hi. And we're still working out final details, but me and Timmy are trying to organise a little beers and break-evens catch-up, which will be on Friday. Probably at the Caxton, but we'll let you know exactly where. So if you're a SuperCoach player out there, come find us. I think there'll be a few other personalities at the Caxton on Friday afternoon as well. So very, very exciting. Magic Round.
If I were you, I would have maybe 12 to 15 beers, then go find them, and then have a chat to them. Then that's what I'd be doing.
Seems fair and reasonable. Very logical.
And get all your mates together, 15, 20 blokes, and then just get absolutely shit-faced and just annoy them. That's what I'd be doing.
It's my debut at Magic Round. A little bit nervous. It's got an Origin sort of feel to it.
Good gear. I'll be up there on Sunday. Can't go for the whole weekend, but...
You'll be out there on Sunday.
Yep.
Going home Sunday, I think. Can't win them all.
We'll have to sort something out next season.
Yeah, we'll have to get brekkie or something.
Yeah, once a month's enough, mate.
Well and truly. Well and truly. And we're 20 minutes in.
Possibly too much.
All right. Boys, pleasantries done.
Yep.
Look, do you want to take us through your train wreck?
All right.
I mean, 5 wins, 3 losses.
Hey,
considering how you've been carrying on for the last few weeks, I thought it would be much worse than that.
It's a train wreck of a season. But considering I've still won more than I've lost,
he's very scrappy.
Coming fourth,
wins together.
Scraping wins. I just get the wins when I need to. Those are the best ones. So coming 6 in points scored out of 12. So not fantastic. There's been a few moves. So Isaac Tungo, who I drafted, won homes for him in a bet. Yeah.
You are up and about today, aren't
Bradman Best. Bradman Best out for Tomoko. He's done quite well since I picked him up.
He's turned into like a genuine strike centre. Eh?
He has. I'm just wondering what happens when and if Savage comes back, and whether they'll start to move the ball more towards like Chris as a bit more of an attacking centre, or whether they keep Croker there.
Call me crazy as a Chris owner. I reckon there's a real chance he holds on to that fullback spot.
He's actually grown into the position.
He's grown into it heaps. I thought there was not a hope in hell he'd last past week 3. I genuinely think
and looking at those first 3 weeks, he was scraping through the game.
He was awful, let's be honest here. He looked dreadful. I reckon over the last few weeks he has come on quite a bit.
Well, he's starting to actually look like an attacking threat and actually offer something. At fullback, so
like it took him a month to work out where to stand. It literally did, and he doesn't play the position, so fair enough.
He's a centre, 100% playing fullback. So.
But he genuinely looks really good right now. I
still think they need an X factor in that team.
Yeah, but
like what I did there.
Yeah, I do like that because his name's that's good. That's good stuff from you. Very good.
Natty playing checkers here.
I don't know. I look at Savage and I still just think he's got a lot of errors in his game. He's very green still. Is my worry, and
he does play for the Raiders.
And I'm not saying that I think Seb Chris will be the fullback in 5 years' time. But if you said to me, is Xavier Savage the fullback in 5 years' time? I'm not convinced he is. They've got another young kid there, Chevy Stewart, who they got from the Sharks last year. He was a young gun, and
great name.
One of the great names of all time. Great kid too. Very good kid. But when when Xavier came back via reserve grade a few weeks ago, they played him on the wing and left Chevy out there. So interesting times.
It's one to watch. It's definitely, especially the game after the round after Jared Croker plays his 300th game.
Very interesting.
That round.
I think they are definitely. Like, the thing is, Croker's actually been playing quite well.
He's done well.
Yes. He's done quite well for where we've seen him in the past, like last season and the season before. He's actually playing to the standard that we've seen before. Yep. So he's not droppable at the moment by any stat.
Hard to change things when you're winning games.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. True. Yep. Continue.
Okay. So CNK, he did really well for me in the first couple of rounds. Obviously, he had the head knocks, all that. Moved him on to Dom Young, and then the opportunity struck. Gussie Crichton got thrown to waivers, so I swooped in and picked him up. He obviously hasn't scored anything
What the fuck?
Yep. Look, you got to have your head on a swivel.
You got to have it in the first place.
Ryan Sutton, I drafted him after losing Luke Thompson.
Yep.
Holy fuck, he's been useless. Yep. So brought in Jack DeBellin off the waivers. Again,
just rebuilding my team, mate. That's right. I'll back it.
Whatever. But then injury just hit me like a fucking kick in the dick. Had Adam Dewey and Jaden Brayley both go down with ACLs same week.
That was tough.
That was
Brayley,
rough. Yeah.
Paul cool.
Yep. Look. At the end of the day,
my turn.
At the end of the day, I will never pick up a player coming back from an ACL again. Because
That's a lie.
This.
That's a blatant lie.
No, I will never do it again.
Less of that.
It's hurt me.
You'll be back.
It's hurt me. But free agent pickup of Matty Moylan, your boy. He did really well. He actually won me the bet, helped to win me the bet for getting Munster in. So losing Dewey into getting Munster has really turned my season around. Still scraping through at hooker. So I got Lachlan Croker there, and it is awful. There's, as I'm sure you would agree, especially you, hook is a real tough position this season.
Yeah.
Not on my team.
Let's get on to yours.
Not on my team.
Not on yours?
At one point, I was like, because he copped those 2 ACLs in one round, and I actually was pretty soft on him in the next podcast. So like, fuck, that's
pretty grim.
It's season.
It was two of my top 5 picks.
You can't even use the AE thing because you've got 2 blokes there, 2 positions lacking in depth.
Two most positions lacking in depth.
The worst.
It's
then he won Munster, and usually I'd be upset about that as well. But the guy who won Munster off has just been collecting first round picks and bets like he's Thanos.
He won Cleary and Munster in successive weeks.
Wow. So I like that. Now Wuka was struggling. He gets Munster. It clips Old Bud's wings. He comes back to the pack a little bit. Wuka gets a little bit of a bump, and there's balance to the universe again.
It has. It really has been the last few weeks. I'm just trying to find the fella in my comp, but it really has been the last few weeks. Like, as far as draft competitions go, there's been certain injuries which are players that you definitely could have had, or a lot of guys would have drafted, like the Adam Dewey Brayley one. Would have been a pretty popular little combo. I know that I've got a guy in my comp, just trying to find his team so I can get it exactly, but I think he went Adam Dewey, Sam Walker. The first 2 picks got, like, in a 14-man comp to lose your 5'8" and your halfback.
That's rough.
There's none of either around. Fucking brutal. Yep. So the injuries that have occurred have been very, very tough. And if you're still waiting for one, Ryan Pappenhausen, you were warned.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Look, you had to take
without him.
You had to take the punt.
Are you waiting for him, are you?
I'll go use him my team.
Oh, God.
I drink water.
It's one of those things. Like, late enough in the draft, you had to take the punt on it. Someone had to.
Yeah.
It was Pappy watch after round 6, effectively.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad that wasn't me. Gives me a bit of flexibility to sort out the other issues in my team.
Talking of issues in your team, Tommy Turbo, let's talk about him.
Oh, yeah, Tommy
Obviously,
Turbo.
the niggling injuries are starting to stack up.
Obviously,
nothing big.
I just want him to sit out for a month.
Yeah.
Just sit him out for a month. Don't keep playing him. Take a couple of losses. I'll take a couple of losses with you, Manly. Don't worry about that. And he'll come back a lot fresher, and he'll get rid of a lot of the niggling injuries that will lead to more hammy problems. Like, it's all around that region. And that's the big concern is, like, we know the history that he's had. He's looked underdone, and part of that is because he's trying a different running style. and you can see him actively trying to run differently.
Like a baby giraffe.
A little bit, yeah. And it's just going to take a little bit of time for that to work and become habit rather than having to actively think about it. So, yeah. The fact that he's still averaging what he's averaging and he pumped out those really good scores at the start of the season, like, I would probably still have drafted him where I drafted him.
The problem is in a captain's league, and you've had this problem a couple of times, is you whack the captaincy on him and you just don't even second guess it.
Yep.
And then he scores a 30 or 40 or a 50, and it can
which is unheard of for his history. So and I didn't have really strong secondary captaincy options each and every week. It was up and down between who I could pick, but now Hopgood, he's come good.
How good?
It's Hopgrade again. How good?
God, I was really looking forward to just drilling down on that.
Just killing it.
Just on Turbo before we do move off, it's interesting in my comp. So I had first, second went Nico Hines, third, the guy that had third said, I'm going to leave it, I'm going to take fourth spot. And the guy that had the next pick after that went, I'm going to take fifth. They didn't want to take Turbo.
Doesn't want to make the pick.
So especially the guy that had fifth pick or fourth, one of them's a very good SuperCoach player in our comp, a guy that I regard a good SuperCoach player, and he left Turbo to take Teddy, who has been incredibly disappointing so far.
He has, yep.
I mean, I don't have scores in front of me, but in front of us there's a game going on now where I think it's 8-0 at halftime to the Sydney Roosters. I can't imagine Teddy would be scoring too well in that one either.
Well, I was at the Dragons game last week, and he looked busy. Scores obviously didn't translate to how he looked by the eye test, but surely the points have got to come at some point.
The Roosters are victims of their own individual brilliance.
Yeah.
Like they've got a lot of...
They're not playing as a team.
Individual stars in that team, but they all look like they're running around with fucking, with headless chooks.
Yeah. It's like direction. It's like a team of 8-year-olds.
100%. Like you take your mind back to the last 6 rounds of last season where they were playing really direct football. Lodge, Jared, Lindsay Collins were playing big, aggressive, middle third type of football, and then the halves are playing really direct as well. You had Kiri on the left, he was going short to Gussie Crichton, and then Sam Walker on the right with his kicking game, both in the air with Suaalii, but also nice little grubbers in behind from that Butcher. It was just all coming off, and they looked like they were a well-drilled, well-oiled machine. It just doesn't look like that at the moment.
I don't have a single... I picked up a rooster earlier today as just to see what happens in the future, but outside of that, I don't have a single rooster. I've been okay with it.
Yeah.
Actually, I've got one. I've got Stili Tupinua, who's also coming back. Outside of that, I've been happy sort of to not have them.
Yeah. I heard that you stole cheese in your league.
Yeah, we had a bit of controversy. We'll get to that very, very soon. The great Billy Smith with the Roosters emblem came into my team today.
Oh, God.
God.
Mate, anything else on your side? Or
no, obviously I picked up Munster, and then with Turbo out, and then Munster out as well, and also my other front row forward out, just due to the Storm bye, I've had to scramble to get someone to at least play one of those spots and just not field a full team, and still lost the round anyway.
Just having a look at your team, you'll obviously miss a fair whack of guys during the Origin period as well.
Oh, absolutely.
Which will test you.
Losses.
That'll be tough. Yeah. What will you have? You'll have Christian Walsh, do we think? Do we think he's there?
Welsh will definitely be gone.
You know what? I keep talking. I was sitting at the pub on Friday night talking about Queensland forwards, and everyone goes, "Oh, he'll be there. He'll be there. He'll be there. He'll be there." They can't fucking pick them all.
No, that's it.
Yeah.
There's only 15 forwards that are going to fit in that pack.
In all honesty, though, Fodawaker's outplayed him. I think he's gone better. Who else do we think?
I said
surely don't go Papali'i to start.
Well, I don't know.
Collins.
Lindsay Collins, Papali'i. Even at I probably wouldn't have him there, but like Kurt Capewell was there last year. Fafita's killing it. Does Capewell walk into the side? Is he going to get there's so many names being thrown out. Oh, he'll be there. They can't all be there. Like I think Mo Fodawaker, he's playing the best footy he's ever played at the moment. He looks tremendous.
I think he's going to be in the 17 somewhere. He has to be.
Yeah.
I think he's a perfect off the bench forward. So look, I'd be surprised if Welsh doesn't get a spot. I'll be pleasantly surprised if he doesn't get a spot. But I'm planning on him not being there for me.
You've got Welsh. You've got DC will be there. Yep. Hopgood could be a smoky, but I don't think there'll be enough.
He'll be in the squad.
Yeah, he might be an 18th man nightmare for you.
That might be.
Yeah. DCE, Holmes
for sure,
and Tommy Turbo.
Yeah,
if he's there.
And Munster as well.
Yeah,
possibly Gussie Crichton too. I doubt that though. He might be in the latter games. Maybe.
I know Liam Martin won't be there game 1. He's going to pull out with injury, so there will be a back row spot there. But Angus is one of many guys. Yeah. But Coleman Tungy's not available too now. He would have been there and thereabouts. So I mean, Angus has still got
and Coleman
3
Tungy
weeks
would
to show
have
what he can do.
Forward. Like, Olakatoa.
Olakawatu,
sorry. Yeah, he's definitely one.
He'll be there, for
sure.
So,
Olakawatu, yeah.
Okay.
Glad you took a 5-second break to get his name wrong. That was good.
Yeah.
My synapses were not firing.
They were not.
All right, let me take over because you are fucking struggling. Eskimo Bros, a.k.a. Casualty Kings. So I'm coming second. Same points as Wuka.
Yep.
5 wins, 3 losses. I'm coming 4th on points scored, so humming along pretty nicely. Now, I thought I was going to have to take a loss this week because I've got Grant, Katoa, Oates, Pappenhausen, Savage, who else? Walker, Ezra Mam out. Pretty much half my team is out. But somehow, because at the start of the round, the guy I'm playing's obviously looked at me and gone, I don't have to look at my team all week. And so he slept at the wheel. RCG played him. He played Ryan Madison. There was someone else he played. He's got a few injuries as well. So all of a sudden I'm in the running in this game to maybe burgle a win here. But new signings for the Eskimo Bros. We just talked about him. Big Mofo comes in. He has been absolutely slaying it for me. Outplaying my other front row forward, which is Ruben Cotter, who's been very disappointing. I traded out Adam Elliott for your boy Hosking, who's just killed it. I lost Lachlan Miller in a bet, which was a big kick in the dick, but I could have lost
Which should have been Grant.
So I brought in Corey Oates for 1 round, and then he got injured. But that's what happens when you come play for the Casualty Kings. And then brought in Xavier Savage, but because I'm in a chance to win this game, I've dropped Xavier Savage and I've brought in Braden Burns because I think Braden Burns might have a decent game today against the Dragons. Now, this is a really good opportunity to talk about how I got to that point, and I used our stats from the Patreon. So first up, what I like to do is I like to look where a team's strong, where a team's weak in defence, and sort of look at those matchups first up. So if you look at those on the team sheets, Dragons and the Bulldogs game came up on both right edges for both sides. So you look at the Dragons, they're scoring 55.5 points per player per game on that right edge, and 1.7 tries a game on average on that right edge. Pretty similar for the Dogs, but it also is good for their left edge defense, which makes it a really good matchup. And then so you can double check that with the matchups on the left edge and right edge. We have another sheet for that, and it just comes up with green or red boxes. Green boxes meaning good, and you go, yep, okay, Dogs right, Dragons right, both have a really good matchup. Dive a little bit deeper, you find that, okay, Dogs actually concede really, they defend the right wing really well. So it's not a great matchup for the Dragons' right wing. But the Dragons concede 63 points per game to the right wing exclusively.
Wow.
Braden Burns coming off a pretty tasty game last week, scored a try, scored 85. Offloads, tackle breaks, looking really good. Put him in there based on the stats. Now, granted, stats lie sometimes, but that's how I came to that conclusion, and that's the sort of shit you can do on the Patreon.
Yeah.
So now if Braden Burns goes on to score 20, we'll just cut all that out, right? Yeah, cool.
Exactly.
Cool.
I mean, it's the whole thing with SuperCoach. It's a probability game. We never know how the teams are actually going to perform, but based on how they performed previously, we can get a decent read of what potentially they will do. The stats just help us to get to that point. Give you the least risk decision.
Better than pissing in the wind.
Exactly.
So if I do steal a win this round, I'll be up there, which I'll go clear of Wuka, and I'll be humming. Team's looking good. I'm happy. The only guy I'm worried about at the moment is Brian To'o.
Yeah, he's been underperforming.
I hate that teams aren't kicking towards him.
Yep, they've unlocked the code.
Everyone's doing it, and he's getting less runs, less
PCMs,
post-contact meters, less tackle breaks.
It's almost something to consider next year if there's a winger on the other side to a monster.
Yep. And not only that, Critter can't pass the ball, or he doesn't want to. He's doing too much.
He's been killing it, so he doesn't have to.
Doesn't have to. So the ball's just not getting out to him. Granted, like the other didn't score a try, scored in the 40s. That's fantastic for a CTW, don't get me wrong, but I also want the 80s, 90s and 100s from him. So I'm waiting for him to score a try, and I'll be shopping him. And I'll be selling him on his name. I'll be selling him on the Panthers. I'll be selling on the Panthers' strength of schedule. I just don't think we'll see the Brian To'o ceiling that we did in past years.
And you would have to think that come round 24 onwards, which we'll talk about soon, Brian To'o would probably be prime for arresting.
Yeah, 100%. And you could get Brian To'o, just off the top of my head, thinking about strength of schedule. Sharks have a really good strength of schedule. Sione Katoa, that'd be an easy one. Ronaldo Mulitalo, one of those guys, I'd do that.
Yeah. Ronaldo Mulitalo especially, he'll pop up again and again on round 23 to 26, round 24 to 27. Strength of schedule, he's going to go.
Like he's a good footballer. I know he's got his brain fades in him, but fuck, he's good.
And for people who don't have their finger on the pulse, they get offered a trade of Brian To'o for Ronaldo Mulitalo. Granted, Mulitalo's been playing really well, but just on namesake, they look at that and they go, oh, fuck.
That's tasty.
Bizarre. Bring him on in, accept trade, and then all of a sudden you're buying Ronaldo Mulitalo for the 4 rounds in the finals, and he scores 6 tries in the finals. Fuck.
And there's no way at the start of the season we would have been talking about that trade.
No.
Yeah.
No way on earth.
Well, I mean, the reality is, and we will talk about it soon, but the comp starts round 24 or 23, whenever you're fine.
That's all I'm thinking about now.
Genuinely.
It's round 9. Like, if you're up the top of your ladder and you're not thinking about finals and trying to work your team for the strength of schedule for those 4 rounds in your finals,
I personally think even if you're not at the top of your ladder, you can. It's not like the NRL where you can't win a comp from 8th.
It's never too early to look ahead.
The other one I want to get your opinion on, boys, is Sam Walker. So my opinion is, I don't know what it is. Like, obviously, it's whether he has to go back and work on his game, like they said, or maybe it's an attitude thing. He was, getting too big for his britches at training, or his attitude was up to shit. And they just want to send him back, clip his wings a bit. I don't know, but we know Robbo does this. He has done it before to his stars. Yep. So I think he will be back, and at the moment I can take him not being here for a few weeks, but I can't take him not coming back at all.
I'm not sure what happened here, and you guys will probably have more information than me, but he obviously played reserve grade this week, early today. He only played 30 minutes. Okay. Scored a try in that.
Wow.
Then I'm not sure. Scored a try, had a line break, had 2 line break assists, had 2 try assists, and then he was...
And how many minutes?
And he was 18th man today for the Roosters.
Interesting.
So I reckon there's a chance...
He might come onto the bench.
There's a chance that Robbo might have seen enough in the first 30.
Wowzers.
So just something to watch there, and I'm going off nothing more than stats on paper.
Actually, that game's on at the moment, so he's obviously not playing.
But he's 18th minute, so they've taken him out of cup, which was the game before, after 30 minutes, and used him for 18 minutes.
Did all that in 30 minutes.
Yes.
That is incredible.
Yeah.
That's sexy. We like that. We love that.
Yeah. Well, he played the first 30 minutes. He had a try. You'll understand my point in a minute. He had a try, a line break, 2 line break assists, 2 try assists. That means he set up 3 tries. He scored 1 and set up 2 in the first 30 minutes. And then he came off, and they went on to lose 36-22.
Oh, no.
Yes. So when he came off the field, if he came off in the 30th minute, it looks like they were up 18 to 4.
That is good news for the Eskimo Bros. We love that.
Yeah. So, if you're a Sam Walker owner, if you haven't already hit fucking panic stations, just chill out.
100%.
Yeah.
Not a guy that's going to have him during that period.
I've heard of a lot of panic trades and stuff like that.
Oh, yes. And to be on the other end of that trade, you should be targeting Sam Walker.
Yeah.
Yes. And we'll talk about him later with strength of schedule, because it's...
One of the patrons
it's really good.
got Sammy Walker for Lachlan Ilias.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's just the depth.
I hate hearing about other draft comps. I just hate it.
The other ones, Corey Oates, I'm going to keep him. He looked fantastic. Came back, scored 39 or 40 base. Broncos are humming. I love that left edge. I think he'd be good. I'll be able to rotate him in and out of my side depending on matchups. And then, of course, Ryan Pappenhausen. So
just on Corey Oates, little yarn. When we were up at Rockhampton a couple of weeks ago for the live show, ran into some blokes, and I think he's from up that way, Rocky, and I ran into some blokes that went to school with his brother.
Oh, yeah.
You know what they call his brother? Shoatsy. Shit Oatsy.
Oh,
his nickname, the poor cunt, which I thought was hilarious.
Move countries.
That is rough.
Start again somewhere else.
That is fucking rough.
Who was the last one you said there, Pappy?
Yeah.
So, how are you feeling about Pap? Where are you?
Well, because my team's good enough. Well, obviously it is. It's good enough to...
Well, you've got Drinky to prop you up.
And it's good enough to win games and be top of the ladder without him. So all I need him really is to come back and play in the finals. So how long away is that? Like around 24 is when...
Yeah, so
23.
You've got, 15 weeks?
Yep.
Yeah. I still think for a lot of people out there, like, for me, I wouldn't do it in my position, but I think for a lot of people out there, if you can get a trade off the guy that's got Pappy, it could be a game changer. He only needs to play 3 weeks of good footy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And by that point, Melbourne might be resting dudes. They probably won't rest Pappy because he probably needs to get
he's not going to come back unless he's ready to come back, just with the nature of the injury. So... they're not going to risk him if they don't think he's ready.
Yeah. And if you are someone that's, you might not be sitting in the top 4 of your comp, but if you know you're sitting 6th or 7th and you know you've got a team that will make finals, but you maybe can't win it, maybe he's the guy that could turn it for you. If you all of a sudden get to finals, you're sitting in 6th, you've got the goal-kicking fullback from the Melbourne Storm who can average 100 on any given day.
And it also puts me in a unique position that I can sell Drinkwater and take unders for him.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I can get that trade over the line and say, I want Drinky for whoever, say it is Ronaldo Mortale to put in my CTWs. Someone's going to go, oh, yeah. But I'm happy to take those unders because I'm sweet.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm excited. Not only that, it's just going to be fantastic. I'm just getting up who Melbourne play in those rounds because...
Now, my next question to you whilst you look for that, and I was going to ask Wook, but obviously can't. You've won a comp previously.
Yes,
so you know what it's like.
Of course.
How are you? Very similar to myself. One of us is not the same. Yeah. One of us isn't half the same.
Shooting out for this, brother.
Yeah, just have a seat. Take a seat. Yeah, just go sit over there.
Fucking Pelicans, a lot of you.
How are you feeling about your team right now compared to teams of the past that have gone on? You've also lost 3 grand finals too, haven't you? So you've been to 5 grand finals?
Yes.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah. So
that honestly is incredible to go to that many.
It just shows you that I'm good enough to be there a lot of the time. Like, I'm always there, always on the dance floor, can cut a rug, can't get me off the fucking thing. Just love to boogie. No.
Still waiting by the bar. She'll come talk to you soon.
Come dance, Wuka. We're all having fun. Woo!
I've been on the dance floor a few times.
We've seen your YMCAs to stay at the bar.
That's the problem. I've done the robot, and that's about it.
Yeah. Look, the only thing that I don't like about my side is the high upside. I'm really well-rounded, my side. Like, I'll go through it now. I've got Harry Grant at hooker, which he does have upside, but I can't.
He tops out at about 1.
Yeah. Harry Grant, Cotter, Mofo. Then in the back row, I've got Sean Lane, Zach Hosking. Halves, I've got Sam Walker, Ezra Mam. CTWs, Greg Marzu, Brian To'o, Drinkwater at the back. Really well-rounded side.
Yeah. Which it's not a bad thing.
Yeah, no, and look, and it is, and if I can get my captaincy right every week, I'm very hard to beat because the captaincy goes well, but everyone else, I don't really have a bad game out of
5 or 6 years ago, that would have been the team to beat. That type of team.
Yes, 100%.
When it was back to base stat beasts and all that sort of jazz. With the game as it stands at the moment, you need the upside, and like you'll get blown away if you come against a guy who's got like 3 absolute ball busters in that one game you play them.
This motherfucker.
All it takes is especially in the captaincy league. Means so much. Means so much.
So Pappy comes into that side.
Yeah. And that changes.
23 to 26. Yes, Storm play Panthers round 23, but then it goes Raiders, Dragons, Titans.
Yeah, nice. Who are your 4 CTWs?
I've got 3.
Oh, that's right. Right. Sorry. Yeah. Who are they again? Who are they?
Greg Marzu. Yum.
Yeah.
Brian Toto. Yummish. And then Corey Oates.
Yeah, nice. It's very good.
Brian Toto from 2022 was really good.
Greg Marzu's doing enough for both of them, to be honest.
Just got to keep Marzu on the side, don't you?
Yeah.
Which I think...
There's a lot of defensive deficiencies in his game. Like, I think it'll just take a couple of losses for the Knights to maybe go back to Rezzies to fix your game. We'll get Heimel Hunt, who's a bit...
Yeah, but I also reckon he just brings enough in attack that he
just does so much. Yeah. Like, the work he does out of their own 20 is just phenomenal.
And like, respectfully to Newcastle, I think if he was at Roosters, Penrith, Melbourne, he probably gets sent back.
Yeah.
But I reckon at Newcastle, they just know they need someone coming out of the back end.
And the big thing about it is you can't fault his effort.
Yeah.
He's always putting in. And that's the big thing. You can't teach that to some
great for
kids.
betting, because you just bet on him to score and then the other winger that he's facing.
It's true, yes. The Marzu double.
Yeah,
all right, fuck, let's get this over and done with. Guru, what's your team like? I might do this.
I genuinely think this might be my best team I've had. It has all come together very quick, and I'll be the first to admit I've been very lucky with injuries and everything. I've had injuries, but none of them have been too bad. I've had guys like Adam Elliott, who I still haven't seen yet. I saw him in round 1. I've got guys like Luciano Leilua, I haven't got back yet, so my team's got more improvement in it. Yep. I'm pretty much happy with it 1 to 13 as it stands right now.
Yep.
It's just about getting them through to the back end of the season.
Including your hooker?
No. To be fair, Sonny Luke is one that I still need to be patient on.
It's just a punt for the back end of the season.
Yeah, but I'm pretty confident that Sonny's going to play big minutes by the end of the year, and I'm going to stick with that. And to be honest with you, even if I didn't want to stick with that, it's Jacob Little or Mozambique. They are the only.
And if it doesn't work out by the end of the season, you just AE that position.
That's my plan. My biggest weakness with my team is that I have 1 hooker, 1 halfback, 1 5'8". So if I do have injuries, it becomes tough. If one of them gets injured, I'm okay.
But in a 14, you got an 18-man bench.
Yes, yes, and I'm as we'll talk about in a minute. I'm carrying every back rower in the world.
Is that wise?
What do you mean?
Well, not having any other positions covered.
Yeah, it's a gamble, but it's also.
Can you play them all? Can you play them all at the same time?
Play what? My second row.
He's on the front foot.
He's on the front foot. He's good, yes. But with my spine, like if I was to show you my waiver wire.
Let's build him up, then we'll fucking cut him.
No, mate, I'm happy to cut myself down. You got to fight.
I'll put the axe away for the moment.
You got to own your weaknesses. I'm all for it. Yeah, there's no spine players available. Like as I said to you guys before, Luke Metcalf was on the waiver wire this morning. I almost didn't sleep last night. I was so fucking excited.
It's a 14-man league, isn't it? So
yeah, it's deep.
When you got 17 teams and you've got a lot of irrelevant halves in there. Yeah. There's not much to go around.
I just think, and I keep looking at halfbacks on the waiver wire and going, oh, should I just grab him to hold him? Then I'm like, what's the point? I'm never going to play him.
Players in ours.
Yeah.
And the way that I see it, especially with 2 of them, Nathan Cleary and Cody Walker, if either of them go down, I'm fucked anyway. They're my 2 top picks. If they're out, I'm fucked. So I'm just backing to get through there.
Which is the story with most people.
Most people, yes.
Yeah. If you lose one of your top 2 picks, you're pretty fucking buggered.
I personally think I could lose Cody and I'd be okay.
Yep.
But I need Nath.
Yep.
Nath's my one that I need.
Yeah, for sure.
So depth in key positions is a worry for me. But as far as my team goes, and without tooting the own horn here, but in a 14-man comp, thank you.
It looks very good.
14-man comp over the last 6 weeks, my scores have been 821, 950, 1,129, 897, 884, and I'm going to go 870.
Did you say 1,129?
Yeah, and I'm going to really toot my own horn here, which the boys at home will hate. I broke our record with 1,000.
Bing, 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 bing. New record.
Thank you.
Hello.
Holy shit.
With 1,129, and I was missing 3 of my top 6 picks that week.
Yes.
In that, Montoya got a 21, Jack DeBellin got a 35. So my first players of the week, Campbell Graham, vice captain, got 290. Cody Walker got 132. Isaka got 118. Then Cleary got 158.
Woo-hoo-hoo.
And
so I actually captained my 3rd best option that week.
This is what I like to say to people who are crowing like you are now. You can't lose it from here, bro.
That's true.
You know what? I'm saying that. If I don't win this year, I'm going to be fucking... and my mates think I'm being arrogant. I'm being fucking honest.
Yeah.
If I don't win this year, it is a bed shit on me.
In the depth of league that you got, if you don't win this, you don't know what you're doing.
Mate, 100%.
Okay, well, let me throw some questions at you.
Yes.
So your grand final is round 27.
No, round 20. Yeah, round 27.
Round 27.
Yes. Yep.
So the Bunnies are playing the Roosters. That's where you're happy with that. But the Bunnies have the bye in round 26, which is going to be a major semi.
It's to get you into the final.
So are you happy to run your team as it is with Cody Walker and Graham at the moment, killing it for you, and obviously probably winning you games? In that round where you have to win to make the grand final, is that worrisome for you?
It is, yeah. That's going to... Yeah. If all goes to plan, that'll be my grand final.
Yep.
I'm going to have to win that one. That's going to be my biggest challenge. I don't mind the matchups for my rest of my team that week. CTW, I think I'm going to be able to cover not having Campbell. I know without Cody, I'm probably not going to have a 5'8", so I'm going to have a shot at a VC there. But
so you're not. So you're also going to probably AE hooker. You were saying.
If Sonny Luke doesn't work out.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. But I know that week I'm not going to have Cody, and I'm probably not going to have a 5'8". But as you can see by my team, I'm going to have back rowers coming out of my arse.
Are you thinking of trading high on either one of those guys? Now, I'm looking at Campbell Graham and Cody Walker and their strength of schedule in your grand final round 27. Cody Walker has a yummy strength of schedule. Roosters concede the most to left halves, 61 points per game. So he's fine. Campbell Graham, a little bit worse though. They concede 52 points per game, which is the 10th. They concede the 10th most.
Yeah.
So not as good. So if you were going to trade anyone out and trade high on them, it would be Campbell Graham. Would you do that?
No.
To get someone that is going to play?
No. For me, what's more important is that
27.
they're coming off a bye. They will be playing that week.
Yeah.
I've lost too many grand finals off not having guys that week.
Yeah.
That's as I said to you guys from day one, that's my focus, that I just want guys on the field that week. I'm hoping that the Penrith Panthers keep losing games and they're fighting for a top 4 spot in the last week. Because if Nath Cleary plays that week and I've got these two Bunnies boys.
Because realistically, you could get anyone for Campbell Graham. Maybe two
at the moment.
At the moment.
Yes.
Yeah.
In most comps. My comp is not, and people don't like to trade with me. Which is going to be my biggest issue.
So, though.
Yes. Because I've got back rowers coming out of my arse at the moment. I've got too many of them. They're all very good, but I'm going to have to try and trade them at some point. So I'm going to have to find someone that wants to trade.
And it is hard to trade in a league of people that don't want you to succeed. We year in, year out, I have this problem. I just know no one's going to trade with me because in the back of their head, they're going, this looks good on paper, but somehow he's worked this out that it's going to work out for him, and I don't want that. So, no to that trade.
Yes. Yeah, which is my biggest challenge I've got to overcome. Normally, I make one trade a year, 0 to 1. I'm going to have to... I've got 1 or 2 guys in the comp that I know will trade with me, but they've all got back rowers, which has made life very fucking difficult. But
for people
you've also
listening and watching, if you are down the bottom of your ladder and you've got Campbell Graham... Now's the time to sell.
Now's the time.
Oh, yes. Pull the trigger.
Right now. Right now.
Because you could easily get a 2 for 1 for him.
Convince him he's not going to play Origin.
Yeah.
And make a move.
100%.
Yeah.
100.
Yeah. So I am, my forward depth is off. As I said, I haven't got Adam Elliott back yet. I think with the way the Cowboys are going, assuming Luciano Leilua is available in 2 weeks' time, if he doesn't walk into that side, I'll fucking give it away.
What the fuck is going on with the Cowboys?
Fuck knows.
That was...
It's all effort areas.
That was horrible.
Yep.
That game. From kickoff, I mean, the first 10 seconds, I was like, have they all got COVID? Have they all got the flu or something? Because they just did not want to fucking be there.
Yeah.
And maybe you see that in the 78th minute. Not the first 30 seconds. No. It was bad. No. It was fucking bad.
And it was something, I don't know about you guys, but we spoke about it on Bloke at the start of the year that whenever teams come from nowhere to big timers, there's a lot of some tend to drop back. Yeah. And we had 3 teams.
Start smelling themselves
Sharks, Cowboys, Eels that really jumped up to a new level.
Were there a few... There were a few big contracts that were signed in the off-season.
100% there was, because they went on kangaroo tours.
Well, there was the kangaroo tours, and they went to the World Cup.
Everyone's a little bit like, I'm the shit, baby. I don't have to try.
And, the whole theme last year, we sat here for 35 weeks going, what about that preseason at the Cowboys? They ran up the hill, they did this, they did all these amazing things. It's hard to do it back-to-back years. It's why there's only 2 teams that have stayed at the top for the last 15 years. It's fucking hard to do.
Yep.
Is it just me or does Holmes just seem wasted on
so fucking wasted?
Like, you see when he gets on a bit of a run, holy fuck, he's just an unbelievable athlete, and it's just like he gets the ball like once a set maybe.
Yep. He uses a decoy way too much.
It's just ridiculous.
But when they were humming last year, he played the perfect role. Like he was when everyone
everywhere.
Everyone was on par, when we were defending well,
he had that
when everyone was
Manu roaming role.
Yep.
And you know what? I'm actually okay with it if you don't let him roam. But stop using him as the fucking overs decoy. Just give him early fucking ball. He'll torch whoever's
or at least do it half the time. At least put it in the defence's mind that he might get the ball.
Do anything. Just like seriously. Whatever.
He was one that I was very high on and very keen in the preseason. I'm so glad I didn't go there because you've got it. One of you's got him.
I've got him. Yeah.
How fucking frustrating! I've got him in classic and it's frustrating.
It is like watching him absolutely light it up when he gets the ball and the opportunity, and then he just doesn't see the ball again.
Was it last week he scored 100?
Yep.
Yeah. Fucking and it was just him doing what he does.
Yes. Yeah.
The only time he gets the ball is when they cross the try line and he kicks for goal.
Kicks the goal. Yeah.
Fuck. Like,
bizarre.
Unbelievable.
But yeah, boys, I am very, very happy with how my team's going. I'm going to welcome back Adam Elliott, Luciano Leilua, Stili Tupanua starting to come back into his own. I'll tell you who's been a low-key real hero for me. Corey Horsburgh. Now that he's playing that ball playing 13 role, if you can go out and get Corey Horsburgh, go and get him.
Yeah.
Dual position. He played 70 minutes the other day.
Yeah. If you can get him and play him at front row forward, it just locks out that spot. It's just so good.
And there's a lot of things going on in the comp at the moment that I think work in my favour. The Panthers struggling. Probably gives me more chance of Nath playing at the back end of the season. Canberra not going too well and Joe Tapine not playing big minutes now probably means he will later.
Back end of the season.
That I managed to get the Cleary and Hosking combo.
Yep.
It's fucking gold for me. Absolutely.
That is a good gold line.
For those that are playing at home, I drafted Hosking very fucking early, so that was a very long-term play. I thought he'd get the left edge and ended up getting the right.
Did he go as early as he did with Campiero?
I think I went the round after.
Yeah, how come Campiero's in your side?
Yeah, I thought
Campiero, boys, is a very good lesson in admitting when you're wrong and moving on.
Yeah, okay.
That was one of my better moves I made all year. Granted, he's scoring tries now. I think he re-signed on a 3-year deal.
He did. Through to 2026.
Yeah. Congratulations to him. Yep. But yeah, CTW is my big issue coming into the season. Campbell Graham's the best CTW in the game. Sebastian Chris has now got dual position and is killing it at fullback. And mate, Connolly Lemuelu. I got him off the waiver wire at pick 9 that week. I was fucking stoked.
And with everyone back in the side, he's still locked down at that
retained
edge.
that spot.
Wayne sucks his dick every fucking week.
Yeah, that's good.
The
best thing about your side, right, for your bunnies especially, and this saying goes for the Latrell owners, is the bunnies have had a real struggle, as in for matchups to start the year.
Strange.
You've got Cody Walker, Campbell Graham, Latrell Mitchell just flying, and it's about to get easier for them.
Yeah.
Which is scary. Like they're about to go on a bit of a run. Walker, you're going to grab it, but fuck.
It'll sound like I'm tooting my horn. I'm not trying to here, but mate, Campbell Graham, I knew he'd be good. What he's doing at the moment is off. He is the best centre in rugby league right now.
What I loved about one of his plays, obviously they were going to him, kicking to him. It was the Campbell Graham show. Then he gets it, turns and just goes like that because 5 players came to him to defend him and just went like that and try. I was like, yeah, this kid's good.
Yeah, he's really, very talented, Campbell Graham.
Really good.
So boys, I'll leave you there, I guess. I'm very happy with my team. I'm very happy with how it's going. I think I've lost 2 games now. So what am I, 2-7?
I think we're all humming. Let's be honest.
We're all doing well.
We're all, with the hands that we've been dealt, we've done well. I can't wait to see when you get a couple of injuries and see how you go.
Touch him, boys. Touch him for me. Touch him.
There's venom in his voice.
I know there is.
Look,
to be fair, I enjoy watching them crumble too.
You're crowing at the moment.
Fun sitting here going, you're good.
You're crowing at the moment. You're crowing at the moment, but you haven't had any injuries to your spine just yet.
Yep.
So
that's exactly true.
And you don't really have any backup for any spine players, and that's the key deficiency that you got with your bench.
Yep.
You've got 3 edge forwards who are yet to start.
He's put some thought behind this sledge.
So
building.
Look, it is something that you can't play. You can't play 6 2RFs at the one time. You mentioned yourself
not even with your
trade.
fucking Mickey Mouse setup.
And you mentioned yourself that you aren't really in a trading league. So what are you going to be doing with those 3 extra 2RFs?
Yeah, I'm going to have to find a trade somewhere. I don't know what's just happened, but Stili Tupanua has scored 56 today, so I don't know if he's crossed from Meaty or something.
Have to have.
He has crossed from Meaty. Shocked me. Reach out, boys.
God.
Reach out. I'm in the halves market.
Fire sale. Fire sale.
Hello.
Yeah, so I think similar to Natty's situation, I can't remember who you said it about, but I'm gonna have to take my second row forwards and probably sell down a little bit.
Yep.
But I don't need 6 of them.
Yep.
I can sell 2 of them for unders.
And that's a really good strategy when you go to trade, especially like us, where it's difficult to trade with people in your league.
Yep.
If you can set your team up so that you can get unders for a player that you're trading, someone will take that trade because they're no doubt they can do all the fucking research they want on the trade. No matter how they slice it, they're winning the trade. They have to accept it, otherwise they're fucking idiots.
And the point will come where if I have an injury in my spot, I am going to have to make a trade.
Yep.
And realistically, I would be happy to trade one of my many 55 to 60 point 2RFs for a 45 point halfback 5'8".
Yeah.
Because it's worthwhile to me.
Yep.
So...
Because the scarcity in that position is worth 5 points an average.
100% it is. And you getting Jackson forward doesn't mean shit to me because I've got other guys that can fill that role. And it's completely fine. So... yeah, boys.
We'll reconvene in a month.
Cannot wait. Cannot wait. Let me ask you this.
Do you need a tissue?
I think I've still got my sad tissues from last time.
He's real pale and clammy and sweaty over there, isn't he?
So as it stands right now, my record at the end of this week will be 7-2. Let's say in 10 weeks' time. I'm sure we'll see each other before then, but in 10 weeks' time.
7-12?
It's uncalled for. I reckon I'm going to be around about 15-4 or whatever the equivalent is around.
So you think you're only going to be dropping 2 games? In that time?
I don't have a heap of Origin players. That's it. I've got Nath.
Yeah.
Other than that, and Campbell probably. Other than that, my entire forward pack won't play Origin.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting in a pretty good boat. Origin
and you must be stoked with how good Hines is going. That there's no chance of picking up Cody. They're not picking Cody. Not even in the squad.
I'm pretty sure that Hines and Cleary are just about locked in for halves for New South Wales, so a little something for all of you as well. And for all you Hines owners to be aware of, but you just got to white knuckle and hold on for that period.
Yeah, I think so.
But yeah, Hines is the guy that's got Hines in my comp. His team, the rest of it isn't great, but Hines is the guy that can really topple me.
Yeah. You're a captain's league, aren't you?
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah. I mean, only cowards played on captain.
Yeah, exactly right.
I reckon I'll drop another 3 games.
In the next 10 weeks or in general?
Yep, in the next 10 weeks. Yep.
In the next 10 weeks, I think maybe 4.
Yep.
Just with Origin and stuff.
Yep.
Your finals top 8?
6.
Top 6. Yeah, see, mine's top 8. So the other thing that's going to be a pain to me, what I usually try to do is finish 4th. Because
you get the double chance.
Yeah.
You get the better waiver and you still get the double chance.
Yep.
You're better off finishing 4th and 1st. So I'm a little bit worried how I've always avoided finishing 1st in the regular season for that reason. But I don't know.
Our comp is fucking close this year.
How does top 6 work? How does your finals work?
Off the top of my head.
Does 1 and 2 get the first week off?
1 gets the...
I think 1 and 2 get the first week off. Yeah.
And then it's sudden death for the others.
Sudden death for everyone moving forward from there.
Okay. Does that mean you got 3 weeks of finals?
No, it's 4 weeks.
4 weeks.
It's 4 weeks. I can't exactly remember how it goes.
Okay. Yeah.
But it's really close. The guy that's coming last is coming dead last, really, really bad. But everyone else, like if I was to drop this game, I would go from 2nd to possibly 6th.
Yeah,
5th or 6th. So that's how competitive it is at the moment. Like Wuka and I are on 10 points, but I think there's 6 of us on 10.
Yeah,
5 or 6.
Half of the league's on the same.
So really close, which I love, because it's high stakes and everyone's on edge.
Yeah,
which is good shit.
Yeah, I think our comp, there's starting to be a bit of a divide already between the top 8 and the rest, just because a lot of injuries have hit the guys at the bottom and whatnot, and some bang average teams are where they should be.
And
I guess when you don't really have much of a waiver, it is a game of the haves and have-nots.
Yeah.
When you're in those sort of leagues.
Yeah, so. And it's all about just being patient for guys to come back and whatnot. So
I love everything about this season. I love the bye. I love the injuries, the suspensions. More chaos, the better, because it really separates the men from the boys.
The boys made it really interesting.
It's so good. I love it.
Yeah.
Because like this week, I had no chance. And just a little bit of tinkering here and there, all of a sudden I'm in for a shot. Even when you're up the top of the ladder and your team's good, you don't have to make... Because this is what happens, right, in previous years. You have a good team, you coast.
Yeah.
I don't have to hit the waivers. I don't have to trade. I'm going to sit on my team, sit on my hands, and just coast. Where's the fucking fun in that?
Yeah.
With all these buys, injury, suspension, everything, like, everyone has to work. Everyone has to be on the waves. Everyone has to be moving and shaking, and I love that.
No, it's an unreal season.
Yep.
I'm thoroughly enjoying it. And we'll regroup in a couple of weeks for another catch up on our teams. But what have you got for us? Some numbers, some stats?
Heaps.
Hit us.
So, and this is what we've done in the last couple of seasons is we sort of break up the year into rounds 1 to 8, which is your start of the season, then round 9 to 16, which is sort of your midway.
Yep.
And then you run the table, so you're leading into the finals from what's that,
17 to 22.
And then your finals, and then we work out the finals. And then for when we're getting close to those sections, we usually do a podcast and talk about guys that are coming off really good runs that are now going on a bad run, so you can sell them, and guys conversely, who are going off a really bad run, coming into a really good run, you target them. So we call it flip and fetch, and it's all to do with your strength.
It's the essence of draft, really.
100%. 100%.
So it's all about how the opposition that they're playing for those sections of games, how they're defending that specific position.
Yep. So if you were to look at players and teams that you were to flip, you would look at Cowboys, Panthers, Tigers, Knights. So, for example, Cowboys had the second best strength of schedule from round 1 to 8. Now they have the 15th best strength of schedule from round 9 to 15. So
you would have expected a lot of the Cowboys players on average
to be playing better.
To perform quite well with a higher average.
But they really haven't. Actually, and
you're expecting their average to drop over the next period of games.
A better example is the Knights, right? Knights had the 6th best strength of schedule. Now they're going in to a stretch of games where they're going to have the worst strength of schedule.
Yep.
So, and there's a few guys here that you can talk about for flips. So, obviously, you've got Lachlan Miller, who's been
He's probably the tippity top.
Playing out of his skin. So, not only do the Knights have the worst strength of schedule for their team in general, but Lachlan Miller has the 6th worst strength of schedule for fullback specifically. So, and that's another thing on the Patreon. You can look at teams and their strength of schedule. You can also look at the specific position. So that's looking at the teams and how they defend fullback in that stretch of game. How many points they're conceding to fullback specifically.
But even doubling down on that, like the impact that Kalen Ponga will have on Lockie Miller's game is going to be pretty extensive. And I feel like it's going to detract from his high octane, up tempo footy. He's going to take a little bit of a backseat. He's not going to be involved in as many attacking raids, and his average is going to drop from that, irrespective of the teams that they're coming up against. So, and Kalen's come out himself and said that he needs to step up a bit more. So he's going to eject himself even more.
And just to interrupt quickly, sorry, I don't know what's actually happened in this game, but Momirovski, I think, has got injured. So you might see Manu move back to centre and Wuka come in. Or could see one Billy Smith maybe get a gig in.
Wouldn't that be... Oh, I'll go home. Is there a flight this afternoon?
Yeah, fucking hell.
My God. Yeah, right.
Welcome to the team, Billy.
He's just rubbing his thumb.
I cannot believe that.
Okay.
You are tinny. You are fucking tinny.
Sorry,
can't lose it from here, mate.
Yeah, so another two guys to talk about there with that sort of flip mentality. Dom Young, averaging 58, been scoring tries, good. 3rd best strength of schedule for right wing specifically. Now has the 4th worst from 9 to 16.
Yeah, right.
Dane Gagai, 72 average.
How the fuck is he scoring so well? I watch him every week. Okay. But then every week he's scoring 70s and 80s.
Yeah.
And again, with KP coming back in the side, it's going to be a left dominant attacking team. He'll probably see less ball. So he's a great flip. Again, Dane Gagai, 72 average. had the second best strength of schedule among right centres, now has the fourth worst strength of schedule among right centres. I love those three Knights players as flip. Right now, high, especially Dane Gagai and Lachlan Miller. Yeah. I really like them to flip them. And so if we talk about fetches, so teams that are the other way, so have had a real rough run to start, now have a really good run, you've got Titans, Raiders, Bunnies. Eels, Dragons. So, for example, if you were to flip Lachlan Miller, maybe you target Gutho.
Gutho specifically, he's gone from having positionally the worst strength of schedule over the first 8 rounds, coming into the second best strength of schedule in the next.
There you go. That's a perfect.
And just to use a classic example for those that are Supercoach Classic players, not draft players.
The
boys informed me of this last week. I got Gutho in Classic this week, 130 the other night, and bombed 2 tries. So, cheers, boys.
Easy.
He's the best hooker playing fullback in the league.
And I get it. It's really hard to sort of zone in when we're talking about it, or it's on a podcast. But I'm telling you, it's on the Patreon. It's all there, black and white. You can go through it yourself. Fucking easy to read. I know it seems like Wuka's hard to understand when he's up here talking, but when you read his stats, it's very easy to understand.
And when you're actually sitting here at the table with him, he's harder to understand.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I try not to look at him. He's
if you are on Patreon, you ever have a question, you just slide into the DMs, you ask the question. We answer every single question that's asked of us.
You don't answer my questions on the live, just quietly.
No,
I'm always just freaking out
because it's bullshit.
Is there
just want to be part of the community.
Is there casting a line? He's
got one hand on it and he's going, talk about Campbell Graham on your live. talk about Cody Walker on your live.
Beck leans over, she goes, what are you laughing at? I go, you wouldn't get it.
Fuck it up.
Oh, God. So, yeah, just a few guys to talk about there. I was going to talk about Sam Walker as a fetch, but obviously if he's going to start playing next week, it's going to be hard to get him. Yeah. But if he was going to have another 2 to 3 weeks out, he's a perfect get. Especially if someone's struggling, coming second last, and you've got someone like, I don't know, I'd give him anyone, to be honest, other than Nico Hines and Nathan Cleary.
What, to get Walker?
Yep.
Yeah, right.
Yep. Can you look at Roosters' strength of schedule, especially Sam Walker's? From memory, I think it's very, very tasty, the Roosters run. So, yeah.
Did you need DWZ for an anytime try score?
Correct.
He just missed a try by a couple of centimetres.
Fucking hell.
Good things happen to good people, my guy.
Yeah. You mean the finals?
Yeah.
Yep.
I didn't need that.
So they go...
Less of that.
I needed that.
Less of that. So they go Manly, into Dolphins, into Eels. They've both been conceding a fair bit of points.
Love that.
Into Tigers.
Love that.
And then
love all
Bunnies in round 27.
Love all of that. Yep.
Yeah.
Lovely. Very sexy. For our strength of schedule in the 23 to 26. Yep. So that's for the next...
He's got the third best strength of schedule in the finals.
Hercules.
If he does end up coming back, which we expect him to.
It sounds like he is.
Yeah. Surely it's a matter of time.
Yep. So, and look, you might be in a league like us where it's hard to trade. You might not be able to pull these moves off. But what we're getting at here is trading guys at their highest possible price at the best possible time.
Yeah. And conversely, going for guys before they go upward trajectory.
Yes.
Because you get them for unders.
Yep.
And guys who are going well, but are on the track to go even better. So guys like Blake Brayley. So he's coming off the 15th best strength of schedule from rounds 1 to 8, 1 to 9. And then from 9 to 16, has the best strength of schedule for a hooker. So
Blake Brayley,
not Jaden.
Pretty sure I was talking about him in the preseason.
Yeah.
You two Muppets went the other brother. Interesting.
Well, yeah, you win
Jerome
some.
Hughes still the best player in Supercoach, or?
We'll own that.
We said Nico Hines.
Right.
Yeah.
Fuck, listen, bro. Listen,
I was too busy talking about
read a fucking book, bro.
Round 5 pick.
And like a flip to fetch for hooker, Jeremy Marshall-King.
Yeah.
Coming off the second best strength of schedule, rounds 1 to 8, going into the worst strength of schedule over the next rounds.
Yeah, right.
So rounds 9 to 16. So there's a lot of leagues. He's averaging, Marshall King's averaging 67. Blake Brayley's averaging 59.
Yeah.
You take that every day of the week.
You get that over the line.
You get that over the line. And it's playing chess when you're playing checkers against them. So it's definitely something to consider.
Yep. We tell people this all the time. It's like no one wants to sell their players when they're scoring well. It just doesn't feel right. Do you know what I mean? Like it's against the grain. But you should always be shopping them.
Yeah.
You should always be shopping. You right, bro?
I'm good,
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
The boy that lived.
You should always be shopping.
I got the black lung, pa.
Shopping them when they're cruising. No good. And we get so many...
I've never been more insulted. Fucking hurt.
We always get messages about people trying to sell guys after the game they did nothing.
Yeah.
It's like... Wrong, man. That's who's going to get him? Who wants him?
You'll be selling them for unders, and you've just got to take the loss for that player that week. Wait until they score well, then you shop him, or you shop him just after they score.
Wait until he does Campbell Graham things, and then shop him around.
Yeah.
Only one Campbell, boys.
All right, let's get into some interesting shit now. Let's talk about finals.
Yeah.
Like we said earlier in the show, if you're not thinking about finals, you're an idiot. Give yourself an uppercut. Start doing it now because it fucking comes up quick. And if you roll into finals and you have done zero prep and your matchups are shit, you could bow out pretty fucking quickly.
Yeah.
So
it will show very quickly.
Yeah, big time. So let's talk about our strength of schedule for our finals, 23 to 26. So we've got Dragons, Sharks, Knights, Dolphins, Raiders have the top 5 best strength of schedules in those rounds. So as Wuka said, that means those teams are coming up against teams that are conceding a fair amount of SuperCoach points.
Yeah.
So a team that sticks out to me is the Sharks, right? They play South in round 23. It's going to be a bit of a hard one, but then it goes Titans, Cowboys, Knights. So that means the Sharks are playing the Knights in your grand final, but you've also got a nice run-up. So if you were smart, you would start targeting some Sharks players.
Yeah.
Ronaldo Mulatalo, Sione Katoa, Britton Nakora, guys like
Blake Brayley.
Blake Brayley. Start targeting those guys now. And I mentioned it earlier, like I'm waiting for Brian To'o to go big. He'll have another big game in him, and I'm going to be looking for a Sharks player. Now, I might not get Ronaldo Mulatalo maybe, depending on how he's going, but I might get Sione Katoa.
Yeah.
And I don't care if Brian To'o out-averages Sione Katoa from now until round 23, just as long as Sione Katoa out-averages him from round 23 to 26.
Yeah, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
Literally all that matters.
So
I know he scored a try this week, but I reckon a cracker to go after would have been Siffer.
Yep.
I'd still be all over Siffer. I'd be using the argument he scored 1 try in 10 weeks or whatever. I would love to have Siffer.
Oh, yeah. Any Shark. Shark, to be honest. Even their forwards, their front row forwards have got good matchups.
Yeah.
So out of interest, how many, just noting the buys and all that sort of stuff, they've already navigated 1 buy, they've got 2 more to go. How many players would you have in your team? How many Sharks would you carry if you could? If you had the opportunity?
Well, at maximum, how many could I have?
3.
You'd go 3?
Yep.
Depending on who they are, I'd be happy to have more.
Yeah, I'd almost...
If one of them was Hines...
If one of them was Hines...
With that strength of schedule...
There's a bloke in my comp that has both wingers. He drafted both of them. Like,
yeah. Well, I suppose they've both been scoring the same amount of tries,
It's the only team that's okay.
Yeah.
And I would be more than happy to have both wingers and both edge back rowers.
Yep.
You probably can't.
No.
But I'd be more than happy to have those guys if I could. And if your hooker was Blake Brayley, in my comp, you're just happy to have a hooker.
I'd be looking at 4 would be the most I'd go. You'd have a couple of the centre wings, an edge back rower, and one of their spine.
Yep. Maybe the hooker. Yeah.
Why limit yourself at that though?
Well,
like,
it just
in your finals,
it does ruin you for when you don't have a 1,000-man bench. It does ruin you for the games that they're not.
Every team can have a bad night. Last night.
Well, no, it's more that on the bye weeks.
Yeah, but but if you've got a good team, I'd be looking at these last 4 weeks, and that's fucking it.
Oh yeah.
Like for me, if I was looking at Sharks, going the last 3 weeks, I can have Gold Coast, North Queensland, Newcastle. I wouldn't put a cap on how many Sharks I'm happy to have. I really wouldn't.
Yeah. Get them in. The other team I want to talk about is the Roosters, and I mentioned them earlier: Manly, Dolphins, Parramatta, and the Tigers. Now, some target guys here: Angus Crichton. Before he starts playing big minutes.
Yep.
He's got the 3rd best strength of schedule if he plays left edge back rower.
Especially while he's still being selected on the bench and not getting full minutes.
Yes. What about a guy?
He's played left edge today when he's come on, so something to keep an eye on.
There you go.
Okay.
What about a guy, James Tedesco, only averaging 51?
Yep,
He's got
for
the
sure.
second best strength of schedule among fullbacks in those rounds.
The thing that I find hard with a guy like Teddy, and it depends who's in your comp and who you're talking to and whatever, but I think a lot of people would look at that and go, well, hold on, I took this guy 4th overall.
Yeah.
I can only trade him for someone around that mark, which is a stupid fucking logic to have. If it isn't working with Teddy, you need to move off him.
Yep.
And granted, you might be moving to someone that got picked 15, 16, 17. Like, for example, I reckon in some draft comps, I could probably trade Cody Walker to a James Tedesco at the moment.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Easily.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
So,
100%.
which if I would have said that at the start of the season, I would have backed it because I've always been a huge Cody Walker guy.
Fuck yeah.
You guy.
Oh, my God. Pretty sure he... Oh, don't even get me started.
Okay, we won't get you started. That's fine. Let's move on. But yeah, a guy like Teddy, I think would be a classic.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I don't think he's ever been this low, this cheap for a trade target since he put on the tricolours.
Considering where his
hasn't been
standards
that
are,
consistent
yes,
with his scoring.
Yeah.
Yep.
Considering where his standards are, he's pushing into that irrelevant sort of.
Yep.
For where you got him,
Yep.
not as a player, but for where you got him and what you're expecting from him, very fucking disappointing.
The odd thing is, like, he passes the eye test and everything else in the games. It's just there are too many cooks in the kitchen when it comes to
It just
coach
stinks
scoring.
of last year. This is what was happening in the first half of the year last year.
Yep.
And then they just went on a fucking run in the last 6-7 rounds and everyone went nuts. I think Angus Crichton had a 5-round average of like 99 or something.
Yeah,
And I think people forget, like, they look back at Roosters last season and goes, oh, it was all over the place, blah, blah, blah. Like, if they wouldn't have run into South Sydney that day where they lost Teddy, they lost 2 or 3 other key guys, and it turned into a fight, not a game of football.
Yep.
I think we look back at the 2022 Roosters in a very different way.
Yeah.
They were the only team that I thought could have beaten Penrith.
Yep. And the way they were playing at the back
Yep.
end, like, they were slick.
Yep.
And it will happen.
It will happen. It'll come together. Yeah.
Yep. I'm hoping that Sam Walker comes back into this side because they are a better football team with him in the side.
100% they are.
I know that Joey Marnie is great for SuperCoach when he's playing 5'8", but I don't think he's great for the Roosters at 5'8".
Can I ask you two a question? And I understand that these stats you've got here, they are based on oppositions. You've got the Dolphins sitting there at 4th.
Yep.
Now, Dolphins, I know these stats are based on opposition guys. Do you put as much weight in them being as 4th as, the Raiders being 5th, for example, just because we don't know what's going to happen with the Dolphins for the rest of the year, et cetera, et cetera?
So, and this is the thing you can do on the Patreon, right? So for the Dolphins, you look at their top scorers, guys like Hammer and Asako, and have a look at the teams they're playing, Knights, Roosters, Tigers, Cowboys, and have a look at how those teams are conceding to those positions, right wing and fullback. And now if that comes up, Tasty, that's the magic moment.
Okay.
When you've got a player. So, for example, when I was just talking about Teddy, they've got the 7th best strength of schedule, and then Teddy's got the 2nd best strength of schedule for fullbacks. So that's a great ding, ding, ding moment. So, like, you look at the Dolphins, you go, okay, who's attacking the best for them? Hammer, Sarko, guys like that. Have a look at what they're averaging, how teams are conceding points against them.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Should we get into 24 and 27? This is where you'll start
It's where it
paying
gets interesting
attention.
for me, yes.
Yeah, so wake up, you.
Yes, I'm here. I'm ready.
Smell the salt. So, we've got round 24 to 27. Dragons 1, and goes Sharks, Roosters, Panthers, Dogs, Broncos, Knights, Raiders. So top 5 there, Dragons, Sharks, Roosters, Panthers, Dogs. So the big ones that stick out to me, and like you said, you're talking about teams that are coming up against oppositions that are conceding a lot of points, but also they're an attacking weapon as well, right? So Sharks, Roosters, Panthers. Panthers is going to be very nice for you because you've got Nathan Cleary, right?
Yep.
They've got Manly, Gold Coast, Parramatta, Cows. I don't think it gets any better than Nathan Cleary than
all
that.
of those teams are conceding
He's
points.
just got to be playing.
Yep.
Yep.
It's that round 27 that if they've got it all sewn up at that point, they'll put the cotton wool on him and put the cue in the rack.
Which is why I was cheering on the Tigers last night. It's weird hoping Nathan Cleary does well, but Penrith lose every week solely to keep him on the field at the back end of the season.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny, the missus watches me watching the footy every week and goes, oh, so who are you cheering on? And I just rattle off a number of players and she goes, what? Which team? I go, I don't give a fuck about the teams.
Don't talk to me. Yeah, the best. Sharkies, obviously, Sharkies and Dragons.
They come up massively. So Sione Katoa has the 3rd best strength of schedule among right wings. Sharks have the 4th best strength of schedule. That's that ding 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 moment.
Yep.
Then you've got Will Kennedy has the 4th best strength of schedule among fullbacks. Sharks obviously the 2nd best. Jesse Ramian has the best strength of schedule among right centres.
Wow. Yeah.
So he's very tasty as well. But I love those wingers. I love picking up those wingers. And for what I would do and what I am going to do is I'm going to be diving into the stats a little bit here and finding out the Sharks' oppositions in those rounds. So they're playing Gold Coast, Cowboys, Newcastle, Canberra. What edge is the most deficient in all of those games? And then target the attacking opposite for Sharks. So off the top of my head, Gold Coast are weak on their left. North Queensland Cowboys are weak on their right. Newcastle are weak on their left. So you'd work out, okay, which one comes up the most, and that's the winger for the Sharks that I'm going to target.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Like that. All right.
The only one that comes up here that's a bit of an anomaly is the Broncos. They've got the bye in, round 25. But they also play Parramatta, Canberra, and Melbourne, who are all conceding bulk points.
And one of the issues with it is, with that one in particular, is the Eels have been conceding so many points. Same with Canberra.
Eels did it all last year as well. They just concede so many fucking points.
Yeah.
So if your players are coming up against the Eels and you've got that mentality like, oh fuck, it's Eels, it's going to be a tough game. Not for SuperCoach, bro.
Yeah. It might be in real NRL a tough game, but yeah, SuperCoach, they'll all be scoring.
Apparently Sam Walker might have broken his nose, so it might be a little update for you. I don't know
what a roller coaster this is.
Well, fuck knows. Momorowski, it's a shoulder. So he came off holding.
AC or?
Don't know anymore yet. So I'm sure we'll find out more and that you guys will know a lot more than us. We're doing this live. But, Dragons Bulldogs team list have just come out. Does it matter to either of you? Or?
Braden Burns still playing?
Braden Burns featuring. There's a kid that's actually, he's not making his debut.
Is that Uluwapu?
Yeah, he's coming off the bench, Carl. Nice. So that's very exciting. Jaden Hunt, who's playing in the back row for the Dragons.
Oh, yeah.
He's a SuperCoach little, I wouldn't say point scoring machine, but he gets through a lot of work, Jaden Hunt. Yeah, so just
it's like the Jackson Ford of years gone by.
A little bit, a little bit. But I obviously can't afford to have another back rower in my team because I've got all of them. So.
You got back rowers.
Like the Ash Ketchum of back rowers. I've caught them all. All right. What do you want to...
Yeah, so the last couple of things we'll talk about is trading out your grand final players. So if you're round 25 grand final, you've got the Broncos to start getting out of your team. If you're round 26 grand final, you've got the Bunnies to start getting rid of.
Yep.
If you're round 27, you've got the Eels to start getting rid of. Now's the time because if you try and do this round 15, round 16, round 17, guys are going to have they're going to have their peripherals on the finals, right? And they're going to go, hang on, I don't want a Broncos player. He doesn't play in the finals. Now's the time. So, Reece Walsh, 87 average, prime for selling. Payne Haas, 78, but yeah, it's hard with him. Adam Reynolds, 79 average. Paddy Carrigan, 59. They're your top four that you want to start shipping around to try and get bulk value
especially with Reynolds scoring like a machine, and then you've got Paddy Carrigan who's starting to turn it on as well.
Yeah.
They're definitely ones you'd be looking to target at the moment.
Start now. Start looking at trading them now.
Speaking of obviously us three being draft experts, we've actually just had a new draft player who's walking in the studio, the great Matty Buxton, who's now playing draft. How's your team going? Come over for a sec.
Come in, bruz. You loving it? Loving a draft?
I'll tell you something funny.
Please do, because listen to this bloke. Nothing's funny about this show.
So this week I'm versing my mate Riser, and I actually I forgot to do my not trades, but because you know how in like draft you don't trade, you just like fucking waiver and all that shit.
Yeah.
So I didn't adjust my team.
So offended.
I know. I didn't.
It's only all we do. Anyway, that's fine.
Anyway, I apologise. I forgot to adjust it, and I was going to put Cam Murray as captain and take it off Dylan Brown, but I forgot. And then Dylan Brown ended up getting fucking heaps, and Cam Murray gets Simbi in the first 3 minutes.
That's the SuperCoach gods.
We are
there
kissed on the dick.
There's a win for you, young sir.
I was at the game with him, and I think he remembered at halftime too. He's like, "Oh, guess what, guys?" I was like, "Shut the fuck up, mate." Fucking seagull your way in here, getting shit canned, and your draft team is killing
the
it.
bloke that's just sitting here, and blokes are getting put in left, right, and centre.
Yeah.
Yeah. coincidence after coincidence, right?
Look, it's all going to come unraveled.
There's a
at
reason
some
why
point.
he's called the water boy and I'm called the guru. Okay,
Oh my God.
don't be mistaken.
Wow. I
Let's see how
didn't
this-
think your head could get any bigger because it's huge.
It's huge. Don't worry. I was going to transfer some size from this head down below, but anyway, can't win them all.
Well,
Round 26, this is the sexy ones. So if you have got Bunnies players in your side and your grand finals round 26, baby.
Yeah.
Latrell Mitchell, 84 average. Campbell Graham, 76 average, which will go up. Cody Walker, 72. Cam Murray, 64. Start shopping those guys around now.
Yeah.
Because
they won't have as much value in 6 weeks' time because people will start to think about the grand final.
I reckon the next ones you're going to talk about, if your grand final's around 27, I'd be selling these guys like fucking hotcakes. These Paramount deals.
Oh, yeah.
Jermaine
Big
Hopgood,
time.
especially off, and these averages that will pop out aren't including the games that they had the other night. So Clint Gutherson, 69 average. What did he score the other night? 100,000. Dylan Brown scored 1,000 as well. He's at a 64 average.
Moses.
Hopgood, who's going to go on a run now with some injuries, where he's going to have a really sexy average. I would wait on Hopgood a few rounds just for him to play big minutes.
Yeah.
And then sell high on him before all the troops come back.
When we were at the footy the other night,
Hopgood was there, was he?
Hopgood was
I didn't
there,
see
yeah.
that.
I saw him from
my social media was bombarded with
Yeah.
photos of you doing a little fucking fatty head wobble and
my phone was dead by the
Please
time I was
delete.
sitting in the bushes out the front of his fucking bedroom the other night too. But at
I
one
bet your balls were
point,
empty too.
at one point, Regan Campbell-Gillard was walking around because he's injured.
Oh, yeah,
And he came over and said hello. And were you there for this, Matty? Did you hear that when Regan Campbell-Gillard came over? Were you there? Oh, the bloke, the Parramatta social guy goes, "Oh, boys, jumping," and he looked around and. Were you there or not?
Oh yeah, I said no to the photo.
You said no to the photo, and then he goes, "Where's Tim?" And Tim was in the bathroom. I went, I'll jump in, that's right. I said, "Hey, Regan, how are you?" I shook his hand to the photo. And then we had the photo and then just said, "Oh, how's it going?" He goes, "Oh, it's all right, blah, blah, blah." And then the Parramatta social media guy goes, "Oh, I'm going to caption it, Regan Campbell Guru." And I was like, Regan was like, "What the fuck?"
Did you go?
What are you talking about?
Did you meet Regan Cam and go, "Hey mate, you're not who I want to meet, but you'll do."
Hey, not Jermaine Hopgood. Thank you, though. Thank you for sacrificing your groin to the Supercoach gods for me.
Oh,
So
God,
good.
yeah.
So yeah, the moral story there is start looking at selling these guys that are playing in grand final. I don't have any bunnies in my side, because that's how I drafted. But if I did, I'd be fucking shopping.
Especially those three relevant spine players. So Gutho, Moses, and Dill Brown.
Yeah.
Like those guys especially.
I would also throw into that argument whenever you're talking to people, mention that they play the next 3 buys. Because if you are talking to someone that's chasing points, those 3 major buy rounds, that's your automatic captain. Those weeks.
And look, if you look at the strength of schedule of the Eels through those the finals games, it's fucking awful anyway. So you should be thinking about shopping these guys, like the spine players, around irrespective. Because they're coming up against really difficult teams over those key games.
If you can, target the guys at the bottom of the ladder as well, because they're less worried about the finals at the moment. They just want to win games. No, and if you start dangling fucking Latrell Mitchell in front of them, it'll be clean up on all 3.
Whatever. Mate, I'll be stringing the wins together. Don't you worry about that.
I can dangle anything in front of Wolf.
Oh, mate.
I'll take hook, line, and sinker. I'll take your fucking rod in your
I'll
butt.
dangle something in front of you in a minute.
Old Durkee slap. All right.
Does it dangle? Is it long enough to dangle?
I don't know. All right, let's have a look, mate. You got so obviously round 12. It's a big week coming up. There's dual position changes.
Yeah, for sure.
Take it away.
Yeah, so
who have we got?
Look, we went through a bit of a session on this with the Patreon for round 6 changes. So round 12 changes, ones that we think are pretty well confirmed, is going to be Burton getting the halfback.
That's nice.
Manu, fingers crossed there's one more game where Manu plays 5'8", because he'll get 5'8", Kiri will get halfback, which is great.
Well, if Sam Walker hasn't broken his nose, you might break it for him to get Manu's.
Exactly. Kenny Brom, almost certainly going to get the front row forward, which is great. Jake Granville is probably not Supercoach relevant for draft.
How many positions can you be dual?
Jake Granville should be a wild card.
Yeah.
100%. You just smack it down.
And that's the thing, like, he's hooker solely at the moment.
He's a flex position for sure.
He's played fullback, he's played front row forward, he's played tour so he'll get something, just not 100% sure.
Knowing Supercoach, they'll give him nothing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
What is he at the moment? Just hooker?
Just hooker. Yeah. Yeah, so he was a weird one last season. I can't remember what it was, but yeah, they brought it back to hooker only.
Imagine if his dual was fullback, front row forward.
Well, there's a world where it could have been a couple of years ago. Yeah. Well, I reckon if he's going to get anything, he'll get hooker, front row forward.
Yeah,
it's pretty hectic as well.
Because I think he's played two of the games at front row forward, and he's also floated in lock spot in a number of the games. So, Cotter getting 2RF, that's all but assured.
He's a guy that I'd be targeting.
Yeah.
He's a guy that's underachieving at the moment.
Massively,
he's got Origin
massively.
coming. I reckon it wouldn't be too hard to get him, and I think by the back end, the Cowboys are going to be chasing points. He's a guy I'd be targeting.
And Dry Arrow is another one that he's almost certainly going to get that front row forward. I'll throw a few names at you for guys that are at the cusp, but they need a couple more games at that position. So Nas is an interesting one for the next one, because he's obviously been playing a little bit on the edge.
Yep.
So then there is a world where he might take over on the edge from, say, a Trent Leoro or someone like that if they get injured or something like that. Jazzy Tavanga, except he's got injured, but he was looking at getting the front row forward.
He's out for a few weeks too, Jazz.
Yeah, exactly. So it's probably another one for round 18. Tarek Sims, he's obviously been playing through the front row forward spot, so he's definitely one that they might consider. Luke Brooks is a bit of a maybe, shot at the stumps for 5'8". Munster is another possibility for fullback if he plugs in there for another couple of games. And Cobbo needs another 2 games to get the fullback spot. So,
if Cobbo was to play another 2 games in like 5 or 6 weeks, there is he still able to get it because he's just played 3 games in total, or does it have to sort of be?
I actually don't know how it works.
I think that it's 3 games for the period of full season, not just that 6-week period.
That sounds a little bit too logical.
Yeah, true.
For SuperCoach.
Yeah. True.
Well,
I hope you're right.
Logic would have said that waivers would have cleared on Thursday morning.
They did not.
Yeah,
Can confirm they did not.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to drop any shark,
we said this in the podcast.
Unlucky.
People tagging us and DMing us thinking that we had some sort of pull to change that. I love the faith that you have in us. We had no idea what was going on. I'll tell you what's an interesting one. Kenny Bromwich, if he gets front row forward, he could be available out there on free agents in a lot of leagues.
I think he's going along at about a 50-point clip as well.
How hard is it to get a 50-point front row forward?
100%.
Whack him in there. Thanks for coming.
He was whacking blokes this week too. Wow, he's a motherfucker, Kenny.
Yeah.
I love that
the big old Bash brothers.
32. They're like, you're going to shift from the edge to the middle in a new franchise. He goes, yeah, fuck it. So
give me a fucking
murder some people. Yeah. We're going to play a centre from North Queensland in your position. Is that sweet?
Don't care.
Ready to go.
Sounds good.
Blokes.
Yep.
Absolutely. I love Kenny.
That's all we got for you.
How good?
Yeah.
Anything else to touch on, boys, before we hit the frog?
Only one more thing.
Just on Kenny, so the last 4 weeks, 49, 49, 50, 50. Sorry, I just incredibly consistent.
You want to lick at this lollipop? No, you don't.
Go, Whoop.
I was just going to say the documentary about the Dolphins, the Rise of Dolphins, is so good.
So good. Yeah,
good. I love it.
So was the Panthers one?
Panthers one was
I haven't
good.
seen the Panthers one yet, but
worth watching.
Yeah, I definitely loved seeing the Dolphins one, just to see how everything all kind of came together.
And if you are going to be joining us this week to watch Bloke in a Bar, the Nosebleeds episode, keep an eye on the crowd. You might see a little cameo appearance from Wuka and little Greg Florimo over here. You going to wear your Bears or your Roosters kit?
Oh, I'll go Bears.
Go Bears. Yeah.
Someone's got to rep them.
Someone's got to,
Who are they playing this week? The Bears.
Yourself a Cup, who are they? They're going really well in the Cup.
They are going well. They had a golden point victory yesterday over Newtown.
Tigers.
Big Jesse Marshke with a field goal. Woo! Guess who scored a try for him? Billy Smith.
Oh!
See you soon, my friend.
Pack your bags. You're on your way.
You're on your way. All right, that will do us.
Yeah, we're done.
Yeah,
Sick
we're
of
done.
yours. Good.
Yep.
Make sure you check out the Nosebleeds with Bloke in a Bar. Myself, Timmy, Kempy, all the crowd. The water boy will be there. It'll be a good little giggle. Nice. Make sure you're following the Weekly Rubdown on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, everywhere. And go check out the fucking Patreon. If you're a fair dinkum draft player, which if you're sitting here, you're either recently divorced or you're a serious draft player. One of the two, you need to be on the Patreon. Get stuck in. Where can they find it again, boys?
Just go onto our site. You can click on our links. It'll take you straight there. Or just Google Weekly Rubdown Patreon. It'll send you straight there.
Yeah. So if you go onto our Instagram account and we've got a links page, Patreon, easy to sign up, and dip your toe in, $5 a month.
Yeah, $5.
$5.
Like Peter Wynn over there. How good.
Wow.
Cheapest chips. How good. Boys, we will see you next time. Best of luck over the next few weeks.
Cheers, guys.
I don't need your luck.
Very
it's
little
fine.
luck. Very
I don't
little
need your
luck
luck.
to you.
I'm
Thank you
good.
very
I'm
much.
sweet. I'm all right.
Can't lose it from here.
Got to pick out which of my 70-point back rows I play
lose
next
it
week.
from-
Tough gig. All right, guys. Cheers for joining us. See you next week.
All right.
Next, whenever it is.
See ya.
Fuck it. Yeah, sweet.